Yeah, it's been a while since I made one of these tutorial type videos, and in the past my other videos really weren't tutorials per se, they were just videos of me making stuff. But yeah, here I am, talking more about Star Wars, specifically modding the Captain Rex Hasbro helmet.
Star Wars, Clone Troopers, the Republic's bravest warriors. With a Clone Trooper helmet and blaster, you can lead with real Clone Trooper commands.
Green light, go, go!
Or give your own orders.
Commander Rex, you're in violation of Order 66. I accuse you of treason against the Grand Army of the Republic.
So it's no surprise from my past videos that Captain Rex is kind of one of my favorite characters in the Clone Wars. So after a while, I kind of realized, why don't I have a helmet from this guy? And when it comes to making cosplay items, I'm really not a stranger to making those. Well, maybe not in the channel, but at least amongst my friends, I make stuff. Yeah, I know, technically you can make a 3D printed one or even order one, but...
You serious?
Full disclosure, I'm no expert. I do DIY projects for fun, I do little customizations here and there, but at the end of the day, it's just a fun little hobby, and hopefully this can help you improve your helmet, or at the very least you could see me stress out making a toy helmet. For supplies, well, you know, a toy helmet of course.
Right.
It doesn't have to necessarily be a Captain Rex helmet. For me, I found mine on Letgo and it was only for 20 bucks. Sadly, it was missing the antenna, but I'm pretty sure you could find stuff like on other websites like OfferUp, Facebook Estates, even though that's kind of ghetto. Maybe local toy shops, they might have some. They primarily shouldn't even be that expensive. Not saying that I paid 20 bucks for mine, it should be 20 bucks somewhere else. If you see someone selling one for 60 bucks, personally I wouldn't go for it. You might as well just get a Stormtrooper helmet and just do something cool with that. Check up Letgo, OfferUp, or Facebook. I mean, I'm not getting sponsored by them, but I just figured, check those out. So in the Clone Wars, they never really go into detail, but in the behind the scenes, obviously Captain Rex gets his Phase 1 helmet and turned into a Phase 2. There's been little artwork designs, and you could even see it up close in toys or even action figures that he welds them together. He adds the piping on the bottom from the Phase 2 helmets that you see in Episode 3. One of the first items I had to find after getting the helmet was obviously a pipe for the bottom part. For that, I just went to Lowe's, found a PVC pipe for about 3 bucks. I forgot what size necessarily, but you could pretty much go with what your best assumption would be. To bend the pipe, I used a heat gun. Now, I already owned one, but I'm pretty sure you could go to like Walmart or whatever, like 20 bucks. So, yeah. To fill in all the spacings, I used Bondo. This was technically my first time using Bondo. I'm not really an expert in any of it, but there is tutorials on YouTube for like cosplaying items when it comes to using Bondo, and they're not that expensive. I bought a giant bucket at Walmart for 15 bucks. For paint, we'll obviously just get white and blue spray paint. Honestly, you could choose whatever you want. Specifically, I went to a old hardware store that had them like super cheap. What I got was flat white spray paint for the whole helmet, and I also got metallic blue spray paint just for the visor portion. They're not really that expensive at Walmart. I would expect like 3 bucks each can. I got mine cheaper, but if you have any laying around, just use those. And also what I used, you don't necessarily have to do that, but I would another spray can you would need is a matte clear coat, primarily because you're going to use acrylic paints into certain parts in the helmet and you don't want that stuff to scratch off. Primarily that's what I used. Once everything was well and done, when you weather it and stuff, it actually looks really good, and it gives it like a really cool, realistic tone once you use it. But you don't necessarily have to use matte. You could use gloss, you could have it clean, do whatever you want. Lastly, the other little items are just stuff you could find at Walmart or any other store. Primarily like Gorilla Glue, acrylic paint. Go to a 99-cent store and get sandpaper, sanding block, cover-up tape, super glue, a bucket, and popsicle sticks for the Bondo. All in all, I'm stupid and I can't remember how much it was altogether, but primarily without the helmet, like $40. I mean, if you're really committed to doing a Phase 2 custom, if you're just going to customize the Hasbro helmet as is, it'll be cheaper because you're just adding in cosmetic changes to it and adding Bondo. But that's what I did, and yeah, it's not so bad later on towards this video. The first thing I did was add plastic to the visor to make it more slimline like the ones in the show. So what I did first is I got a piece of paper and I traced around the visor just to get the appropriate measurements that I would need to cut the plastic into the visor to make it more thinner. I bought a plastic bucket at a 99-cent store and traced it onto that and cut it. You can use a rotary tool, but later on when I was using that, I realized you could use scissors, so it's not really that hard to cut. Once you have that, use a little thin amount of super glue and then glue that onto the visor. Just put a small amount of it, because when I did it, I kind of screwed up and some of the glue went onto the visor itself, and it took an hour just to remove super glue, and it sucked. It sucked. Mine specifically was the Captain Rex Hasbro helmet. So the voice changes inside. It actually has Captain Rex's voice in it. And I didn't really want to let that go once I close everything off and I can't change the batteries. So I used a rotary tool, cut the bottom part that's holding the battery casing, flip it around, glue it in place, and that's it. And even for the back side of it, there's a fin that the helmet has. I just cut that fin out, sanded down the little plastic covering, and then just re-added it by using a little bit of the heat gun to bend it, and then re-glued it with Gorilla Glue. After that, I started using Bondo onto the little spacings. There's gonna be like little lines all around the helmet that makes it look like a toy, obviously. What I did was I used super glue to glue the helmet together, and then I used Bondo to cover up the lines. After sanding it down, I went straight to the PVC part. Using protective gloves, I used a heat gun and heated it for like about a minute or two, and then after that, I started moving it around the helmet. It took an hour for me to do this, but once you have the PVC pipe all around the helmet the way you want it, I used Gorilla Glue to glue it in place and then use Bondo to fill in the spacing. Once you sand it down, cover up the visor with tape or anything, because the next part you're going to do is paint it. Paint up the whole thing white, cover up the things you need to for the visor and spray paint that blue. And once you're done, then the next part is pretty much the easiest stuff where you add in acrylic paint. You're gonna paint in the little details on the helmet that really make it stand out. In Rex's helmet, there's obviously something covering up the pipes. So what I ended up using was 2 little water bottle caps and painted it black and then just Gorilla Glue that on. Is that a conventional way of doing it? No, but that's pretty much the only thing I had that was the right amount of size that would actually fit into it. You could use whatever you want, obviously. This is just how I did it. Since my helmet didn't come with a rangefinder since I bought it on Letgo, what I ended up doing was asking one of my buddies who had an old Boba Fett helmet. His rangefinder kind of broke, so what I got was his part, got a metal stick thing, and Gorilla Glued that on, painted it, and yeah, glued that sucker onto the helmet. If you see online the way it looks, yeah, I'm pretty sure you could DIY one yourself. There's even ways you could 3D print one if you would want to, or even like possibly going to a thrift store and maybe seeing like a Halloween toy of a Boba Fett helmet and buying it for like, you know, like $2 or $3 and just adding that onto your helmet. What I ended up doing was blackwashing the helmet and even dry painting it. I wanted to give it a battle-worn look to make it look very realistic. There is a battle-worn look to not just Rex's helmet, but all the other clones. Obviously, there is already some scratches because I did not paint it properly, but that's good. It's supposed to look battle-worn. Once that's done, you add in the matte clear coat so that way the acrylic paint won't get scratched off. After you add in the matte clear coat, yeah, you're pretty much done. So yeah, this is the helmet that I made. I really dig it. Obviously, there's a lot of mistakes that I did to it. This is my first time using Bondo, so I didn't really do a good job into adding Bondo in certain spots. For me, personally, it's fine. Since this helmet is supposed to look battle-worn, it kind of makes the helmet look like it's been battered up and damaged. I'm gonna do more alterations in the future. I should make it look a little bit more darker, a little bit more dirty and worn. I could still like rechange the batteries and it still has the voice from Rex, so yeah, it's pretty cool.
Explosives are in place, sir. Hands above your head.
Execute Order 66.
But yeah, this is pretty much my helmet. For me, developing this really took like a week and a half to do. And that's if you have like all the time in the world. If you're an expert in using Bondo and even doing DIY projects, it could probably take like under a week, maybe even like 4 days. But for me, I really wanted to take my time with this because it was my first time doing this. Huge thanks to Michael from the Rexin Around show. I really am not just saying this just to kiss up or anything. I really did watch some of his videos that really did help developing this helmet. Now, is it wholeheartedly accurate to the show? because I posted this on TikTok, and obviously the horrible amount of comments saying it's not accurate is totally fine. Totally fine. It's not going to look immensely show accurate. You're literally getting a phase 1 helmet and making it into a phase 2. I still have a little bit of stuff I need to work on in this helmet, but as for a finished product, I really love it. Amongst doing the Clone Wars Season 7 reviews, that it actually helped me make this helmet, because I really... Man, that finale was amazing, and yeah, I really wanted to make something from that show. And even this shirt, like, come on, like, this is really cool. Go check out on Instagram, Only Hope Supply. This Rex shirt is sick, and it really goes well with this helmet. I love it. Yeah, that's pretty much my little tutorial video. I'm gonna make more of these in the future. I really want to do more nerdy content. Yeah, thanks guys for watching this. I love you guys, thank you, and